This is part 2 of why saurophaganax versus my macrothorax is not a close fight. So continue on with the overall combat potential. Saurophaganax's serrated teeth, overall upper body size, and strength gives it the edge in overall just face-to-face combat. While my macrothorax is several times faster and its claws are much bigger, its weakness is that is about, let's just say, maybe much smaller. Well, not by a lot, but it still serves as a major weakness. Also, when it comes to the overall build, I'm not sure if this design is necessarily scientifically accurate, but it's one of the more dated versions on this list. So, judging by the overall size, I would assume this man is the average height of a human, and this thing might be nearing potentially 8 to 10 feet in height. While saurophaganax, this is likely a woman, meaning that it's not as tall as a man. I'd estimate about 12 feet tall. In terms of overall stability, it still goes to saurophaganax due to its much larger build, heavier tail, and overall just a slightly larger feet and lower build allows it to have a much lower center of mass. This makes it much harder to essentially fight. To essentially be knocked down. Maip has proportionately larger legs than saurophaganax, but this is and much smaller feet. This makes it much lighter, but also at the same time much easier to essentially trample. Now, in terms of actual posture, saurophaganax already has the edge. If you can notice right here, saurophaganax has an S-shaped neck. This allows it to essentially attack things slightly smaller than itself, but it also gives it a much higher stance of the head, allowing it to essentially grab onto larger prey and enemies. My macrothorax has a relatively straight neck, and it also has a very small and usually weak mouth. This plays a lot as well. My macrothorax is not the best at fighting against, let's say, larger dinosaurs. While this species did rival Carnotaurus, the fight was often quite very close. Carnotaurus was an incredibly powerful dinosaur, but in comparison to saurophaganax, yeah, it's out of its league. Another thing is that in terms of overall potential to even survive, I would say that my macrothorax actually does a little bit better. While saurophaganax was an apex predator, they weren't as common as, per se, Allosaurus. This is a huge weakness and problem for it, as well. It requires a large amount of food, and they are often outnumbered. While my macrothorax, this is a different picture, might have had a better chance of survival. This is because they could have potentially used pack or mobbing behavior, although that is still up to debate. So yeah, that's it. Saurophaganax takes the win, but it's still a very close matchup.